Aloha everybody and welcome back for this week's episode. Aloha everybody and welcome back for this week's episode on Yoga for Swimmers. Today we're going to be working through our full series activation for our chest and upper back. So we went through our peak pose the other day of reverse warrior. We're going to be seeing that pop up again and again in today's sequence. And really with the chest and the upper back, we're going to start to expand through the front of the body, starting to strengthen and activate the little muscles along the backside to really open up some more space for our breath to be able to pass through a little bit easier and get down into those lower spaces around the core, around the hips, all the way down into the legs, everything that we've worked on before, just allowing that energy flow to pass a little more freely, a little bit more easy. And that way, at the end of those hard practices, the end of the races, we have access to our full, complete capacity to be able to allow that energy to pass through and keep us moving forward as fast as possible, as long as possible. So for today, let's go ahead and get started. So for today's episode, we're going to go ahead and get started just seated on the mat. Option to be cross-legged or just sitting back onto the heels, whatever is more comfortable and more accessible to you to start off for today. We'll bring the palms together to touch and start to close down the eyes. Starting to just draw that awareness inwards, coming into the present by tuning into the breath. Without changing anything in the way we're breathing, just start to be an observer and noticing how the breath feels as it enters the body and where the breath goes as it exits the body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, start to travel and intentionally channel that breath down all the way into the tailbone. And on the exhale, move the belly button in towards the spine and start to feel that breath travel back up, out through the mouth to release. One more, intentionally drawing that breath down the length of the spine, filling up the space between every vertebrae as we do so, starting to feel a little bit of a lift through the crown as we start to ground down with the breath. And on the exhale, continue to find length as the air gets pressed up and out. Coming back the same way it came. Feel it travel up through the chest and out through the mouth. Release. On the next inhale, we can go ahead and blink open the eyes. And from here, we're going to stay in our seated pose, and we're going to go for some spinal twists. So we're going to inhale, our arms up overhead. And wringing out the base of the spine like a towel, just start to open up to the right side, bringing the back of our left hand to the outside of our right knee. And just gaze towards the back of the mat, the back of the room, the pool deck, wherever you're practicing today. So if you can inhale to bring length to the spine, lifting up through the chest, through the crown of the head, and exhale to twist, rotating along the spine to continue to activate and find some extra centimeters of mobility there. Inhale to come back to center. Same thing over to the left side. We exhale to twist open, using the breath, bringing out the spine from the tailbone. Feeling that breath travel up, bringing that right palm to the outside of the left knee this time. You can just float the left hand. If you can reach all the way down to the ground, if that feels more comfortable to you, we can do so. Or just float the hand, but really intentionally lifting out of our bodies to lengthen our neck. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. We inhale to continue to find length. And exhale to twist. Feeling the spine start to rotate on itself, gazing over the left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Now we're going to go for some cat-cows, but this time again, just staying seated for these, and just notice if there's any difference in how you normally feel these. So go ahead and interlace the fingers, push the palms away, start to round out through the shoulders. Exhale, gaze down towards your belly button and really reach and feel like you're pressing the wall away And start to open up through the back of the shoulders, expand through the space in the shoulder blades. Bring the breath there. Start to fill up the spaces in and around the ribs. And on the exhale, we bring the belly button into the spine. Almost like you're sliding your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. We lift up open through the chest. Big breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the belly button. And exhale, draw yourself back, draw those shoulders down to the back pockets. We'll do one more in that breath flow. We inhale, gaze down towards the belly button. Reach, press the palms forward, find more space through the back of the shoulders there. You might start to feel your lower core start to engage. And exhale, draw those shoulder blades back into the back pockets, lifting up through the collarbone. Release. Go ahead and shake that out. So we're going to reverse the flow of the breath there. So we are inhaling to start to find that expand, exhaling on the way back. Now we're going to flip it and just notice if there's any difference in how that feels in your body. So this time, interlace the fingers, press out towards the wall. Good. And this time we're going to exhale, draw the belly button in towards the spine, and see if you can find more length as we start to kind of lift up and out through the belly to round and curl the top of our thoracic spine. And press the palms towards the back wall. And now we inhale, draw the breath into the belly to lift the gaze. We're going to do that 3 more times. Exhale, feel the breath travel up, feel it round through the shoulders, pressing out through the palms. Inhale, feel that breath travel into the belly and have that motion sweep you back into seated. Good. Last 2. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Draw those shoulders back into the back pockets. Nice work. There's no right or wrong for those, but it's just starting to bring awareness into where the breath is moving as we travel through that same set of postures, that same movement, but just noticing how changing that inhale and that exhale really changes how you're feeling that energy flow through your body. Just going to keep that in mind as we start to flow through for today's posture and bring that into the pool with you as well. Just start to notice where the inhales and exhales are happening as you take your breath and put your head back down into the water. So from here, we'll come up into downward facing dog, our first one of the day. So bring the shoulders over the elbows, over the wrists, stack the hips over the knees, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, keep those knees nice and bent, and then slide the tailbone up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. Once you found that connection, draw the shoulders away from the ears, create more length between the ears and the shoulders. And from there, go ahead and take a deep breath in. Feel the shoulder blades start to spiral into the back. And then from there, as we exhale, travel that breath down through the heels to root down through the feet. And from here, we'll take 3 rounds of breath to just start to connect ourselves to the movement. Inhaling, feel the lift in the hips, draw the shoulders away from the ears, gaze towards the belly button. Exhale, connect down, ground down through all 4 points of contact, through the heels, through the base of the hands. Inhale, find a slight lift through the tailbone. Feel the hips draw up and back. Taking some of the pressure out of the shoulders, out of the arms. Exhale, ground down through the base of the hand and through the heels. Slightly spiral the eye of the elbow open to the front of the room. And feel the engagement of the hands as we start to spiral out through the hands, engaging all 10 fingers. And notice how that takes some of the pressure off of the shoulders as we move it up into the hips. And just shift our center of gravity more into the hips, more into the pelvis. And from here, gaze to the space between your hands and just slowly walk your feet up to meet. Grabbing opposite elbows, forward fold. Head is nice and heavy. There's a magnet on top of our head pulling us down into the ground. Start to lift up through the hips. Okay, and then from here, we're going to go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back. You can keep your palms together, and we'll just start to bring our hands up and overhead. Big breath in here. And exhale, relax through the shoulders. Continue to draw them away from your ears. And just let the hands be heavy. Almost just like a pendulum. Feel the weight of the hands just start to lift the hips. And start to shift the weight up and overhead. 2 rounds of breath here. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the breath into whatever spaces of tension around the shoulders you may be feeling. And exhale to release. Let it soften. Good. Go ahead and release the hands. From here, 1 vertebrae at a time, we come all the way up into stand. Feet are still hip width distance apart here as we float the arms up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale. Palms face forward. Bring the hands down long by the sides. Nice. From here, go ahead and toe, heel your feet to touch. Good. And from here, we're going to go ahead, inhale, float that right leg nice and high. We're just going to start to get our balance, grounding down through that left foot. Ground down through the left heel, and imagine a rod traveling up from the heel all along the back side of the body for support. And from here, we're just going to step our right foot back, airplane out the arms. Nice and long. Step back as far as you can. Ground down through the feet. Find that stability. You're on railroad tracks. Inhale the arms up overhead. And we exhale to shift the weight forward. Airplane arms. Feel 1 line of connection from that back right toe all the way to the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Pull those fingertips, magnet them back towards the back wall. Start to feel that lift in the core engage up and out, mostly of the right side, but you can feel a little bit of that lift out of that left side as well. Inhale, we float the arms up overhead. The back heel will sink down. We go through that one more time. Exhale, lift out of the hips. Engage through that back leg. Find the energetic connection from the toes all the way up through the crown of the head. Good. From here, we inhale, arms float up overhead. Spiral down that back foot. We come into warrior 2. So again, with our warrior 2, we have a generous bend in that front leg. Looking for that 90-degree bend if we can. Back foot, short edge is turned towards the short edge of the mat. Arms out nice and long. We're really grounding down through the base here, finding that ground down through the feet. At the same time that we're energetically engaging up through the thighs to find that energy pull up through the core. Open up through the chest. Arms float out nice and light. Gaze over the middle finger here. Quick check on the alignment. Heel is in line with the arch of that back foot. Breath here. Feel the pull from the middle fingers in opposite directions. Good, and we're going to shift, just kind of hinge the weight forward. And this one, I love this cue. It's like you're holding a tray of pizza. We're going to slide that left hand under onto that left knee. Top arm comes up and overhead. And find an extended side angle. So from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. Again, we have that 1 line of connection, nice and long here. Take a big breath in. Feel the ribs start to expand. Can you add space between every single rib as you start to expand open through the side of the chest? Stay lifted out of that left side. Drawing the shoulder blade down, creating space around the ear. Good. Good. From here, we'll straighten out that front leg this time. Coming into reverse triangle. So legs are straight, arm floats up overhead. Slide that right hand down the back leg, look up towards the fingertips. A little bit of release. We come back into warrior 2. Let's spiral both hands back down to the mat. Left foot steps back to meet the right. We go for a vinyasa. Option to drop down to the knees for this first one. Hugging the elbows in towards the ribs. Slowly lower down. Hold here for just a second. Use that inhale to float the chest up nice and high. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze forward. Intentionally press through the palms. By pressing through the palms, we can actually create length through the front of the chest. Lift up through the armpits, the front of the armpits. And then we'll slowly rotate open to the right side. Look over that right shoulder. Can you find your back toes? Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, gaze over to the left side. Can you find your toes? Inhale for center. Exhale, we tuck the toes. Shifting the hips up and back. Feel that energy travel up the spine. Downward facing dog. It would flow through. Same thing on that right side now. So look to the space between your hands. Jump, step, or walk the feet up to meet. You come all the way up to stand. Toes are together this time. Arms float up overhead. Big breath in. Continue inhaling. Exhale. Release the palms, face forward, arms down long at the side. Inhale. We float the left leg high this time. Ground down through that right heel. Find that connection through the right hip. Lift up and out of the hips. Engage through the core. Arms float up overhead. Shoulders slide down away from the ears. Create more lift through the front of the collarbone. And on the exhale, big step back. We airplane the arms. Arms come long down by the sides. Big step back, nice and controlled. Exhale here. Inhale to float the arms up overhead. Exhale, find that line of connection. Arms float back, almost just like you're going to fly away, like you want to lift off in that airplane off that front leg, but we're not going to just quite yet. Engage through those back left toes. Lift the heel. Find that line of connection all through the left side. Lift out of the hips. Good. We inhale, arms float up overhead. Exhale, belly button to the spine. Find length, lift up. Last one, float the arms up overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Spiral open to the opposite side now. Spiral down that back foot. Right toes face forward. Knife edge is along the short edge of the mat now. Press through both feet. Find that line of connection. Generous 90-degree bend. Root down through the heels. Find stability in the base. And then we lift up through the hips. Lift up through the chest. Collarbone is nice and open. Chest is broad. Arms come out. Look towards that front middle finger. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and controlled. Inhale. We exhale. Good. From here, we're going to go ahead and find our serving of pizza. Drop that right elbow down to the outside of the right knee. Extended side angle. Reach through the top fingertips all the way down to the left toes. Expand the ribs. Create more space between every rib cage. Lift out of the spine. Lift out of the hips. Draw that bottom shoulder away from the ears to create space. And then we inhale, straighten out that front leg. Top arm comes up overhead. Slide that left leg down. Reverse triangle. Spiral the arms down to the mat. We step that right foot back to meet the left. Exhale, slow and control vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We flow through that now. One more time, a little bit faster, breath to movement. Listen for the change as we work through that reverse triangle. This time we're going to keep that front leg bent. So just adding a little bit more spice to keeping that engagement just a little bit longer there. Reconnect with the breath here. 2 more rounds. Look to the space between your hands. Jump or step your feet up to meet. Big breath in to float all the way up. Keep breathing in to float the arms up overhead. Exhale to release. Float the chest, keep the chest lifted. Inhale, big breath in. We float the right leg up. Exhale, step it back, airplane. Inhale, float the arms up overhead. We exhale, warrior two. Inhale, shift the weight slightly forward, extended side angle. Bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. Extend that top arm. Feel the space between the ribs. Exhale, keep that front knee bent this time. We go for reverse warrior. Open up through the front of the body. Look up towards the top hand. Keep that engagement through that front leg. Hold here for one more round of breath. Big breath in. Draw and spiral that left shoulder down and away from the ear. Expand through the ribs. Exhale, spiral back down to the mat. We step the left foot back to meet the right. Exhale to lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Lift through the chest. Exhale, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Just one round of breath here. We're going to get right into it. Breathe in through the nose. Reconnect on the exhale, ground down through the heels. Inhale, look to the space between your hands. Jump, step, or float to meet. Inhale, we come all the way up to a standing. Arms float up overhead. We exhale to release. Keep the chest lifted, the arms draw away from the ears. Good. We inhale, float the left leg nice and high, ground down through the right heel. Exhale, airplane arms, step back. Inhale to float the arms up overhead. Exhale, warrior two, spiral out that back foot, open up through the chest. Gaze forward, nice and strong here. Inhale, shift forward, extended side angle. Peel open through the ribs, feel that expansion, fingertips all the way to the toes, one line of connection, engage that right glute. And then we inhale, reverse warrior. Slide that left hand down, not adding any weight, but we're just sliding it down because we're nice and engaged through our foundation. That's taking the support and the weight off of our upper body. Engage through that front leg, gaze up. Spiral that right shoulder down into its socket. Notice how that starts to open up through the right palm towards the back of the room. Stay here for one more round of breath, nice and strong. Expand through the ribs. And spiral the hands down to the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Expand through the ribs, open up through the collarbone, press through the base of the hands. And we exhale, downward facing dog. Good. From here, we'll just go ahead and drop it down onto our knees. Take a reset, forehead down to the mat, arms long by the sides. And just start to reconnect to the breath. And we're going to start to imagine that we're breathing in to all four corners of the lungs. So we're breathing into the front of the lungs, into the front part of the rib cage. Just start to notice the expansion there. Exhale to release. Feel the knees draw into that cavity, into that space that you're making with the exhale. We inhale intentionally, starting to expand through the right side of our ribs. Feel the space between every rib on that right side start to create more space and expand. Exhale. Feel the contraction, release, let it go. Inhale, breathe into the space at the base of the ribs on your backside. Feel the ribs start to expand. Exhale to release. Intentionally drawing our breath into the left side of the rib cage. And you feel every space between every rib cage start to expand. Just like a balloon pressing against the ribs, just pushing it out. And exhale, release. Inhale, slowly come all the way up to a seat. Good. From here, just bringing the legs out in front of us. And some final twists to finish up for today. We'll keep both legs out long. Draw that right knee up into the chest. Lift up through the chest. Bring the right foot over to the left side. Big breath in here. Right arm floats up overhead. And that same twist that we started with, now we're twisting out to the back, out to the right side. Place that right hand down. And instead of just trying to twist, we're going to keep finding length through the spine on the inhale. And then if you can, hook that left elbow to the outside of the right knee here to continue to lengthen through the spine and deepen the twist. So breathing into all four spaces just like a balloon. We're expanding into all parts of our rib cage here. We're here for 5 rounds of breath. Gaze over the back shoulder. Keep lengthening with every inhale. Lifting out of the spine, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. On every exhale, twist on that spinal axis, across that center line. Last deep breath here. And on the inhale, start to unwind. Come back to center. Draw both knees in for a second. Just going to windshield wiper, seated this time, dropping them side to side. Start to release the lower back. Just create some space here. Good, and then lengthen out that right leg. Draw the left knee up into the chest, up into the armpit. Lift out of the tailbone, lift up through the chest. We bring that left leg over the right. Somewhere along the knee, wherever is accessible to you, wherever it lands is not super important. The most important part is to find the connection from the base of the foot. So we have a little bit of an extra tripod there. Good, from here we float the arms up overhead. Ground down through the glutes. And then as we exhale, twisting open to that left side, bring that left hand down to the mat this time for some support. Lift out of that back hand. Draw that elbow to the outside of the left knee. Just a little bit of an extra support and a twist here. Again, we're not using that to twist ourselves so much, but we're really using the breath to twist. So inhale to lengthen. And exhale, twist along the axis of the spine. Drop that left shoulder away from the ear if you're holding any tension in that left side. Just let it soften. And allow the breath to do the work here. Expand through the ribs in all directions. And when you're ready, we slowly start to unwind, lift the arms up overhead. Plant both hands, draw the knees in. Windshield wiper side to side, let the knees fall. From here, we'll just come into a cross-legged seat, finishing just how we started, with some breath awareness, just noticing any changes in the quality of the breath, where the breath is traveling, any change in the nature of the breath, essentially. Just start to be an observer and start to notice. And do so without judgment. You can bring your palms up, palms down to rest on the knees. Just a nice, easy seat here. Breathing in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Allowing our mind just to be here on this breath, right here and right now. Slowing down the rhythm of the heart rate. Increasing the depth of the breath. And with that, increasing the depth of the awareness of our internal rhythms. The last round of breath, go ahead and bring the palms to heart center. Thank yourselves for showing up for today's practice. Go ahead and blink open the eyes, return back to the space. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank yourselves for showing up. Again, just starting to really work on expanding through the front of the chest, opening up through the back of the shoulder blades, and kind of strengthening and activating the upper back to draw the shoulders down and away from the ears through that lift in the chest. It's just going to start to promote a healthier posture, not just on land, but in the water as well. We can start to really use the breath to channel just the awareness in how we're breathing and how that changes our dynamic and our posture as we move through the water. Again, really trying to get more into that downhill motion. So the more we can expand and allow the space for that to happen, the more access we're going to have for that energy and that breath flow to continue down into the core, the hips, the lower body, everything that we've already worked on. None of that happens, obviously, without that energy flow traveling healthily and evenly throughout the body. So but go ahead and bring it into practice. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be back next week with our strengthening series, again, working the chest and the upper back. Until then, be well and namaste.